Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So I just finished my week 4 Eternity of Pain stream and I must say that this fight was much more enjoyable and I definitely did have fun. We also had several awesome solos. Before we get to that, I'm just gonna quickly break down the fight, show you guys a quick couple of solos, then reference some more solos from my stream, and then we're gonna go on to my recommendations. So quickly, a brief fight breakdown. Basically, placebo node is gonna give you buffs whether you like it or not as you strike the opponent, and buffed up means that you have to have at least 3 buffs in order to deal damage. This buffed up largely probably is here because of Spider-Man 2099 and or Red Guardian, which effectively means that those two champions do not work. Do not ask about them, they just don't work, because if you can't get 3 buffs, you will be dealing 0 damage, and champions that can't gain buffs as part of their ability kit are automatically invalid, basically. Now, no surrender is kind of like the key node here, which basically is going to help you mitigate the degeneration damage up to 90% based on your power. However, that mitigation becomes weaker the more you have power, so that immediately kind of lets you know that you typically want to get rid of your power as quickly as possible. However, every time you knock down Dormammu, you will be transferring the degeneration back to Dormammu, dealing 1000% damage over 5 seconds. So the degeneration actually is a very major damage source. So your objective is kind of get rid of your power as quickly as possible and transfer it and not keep knocking Dormammu down for most part. But that is made difficult because of Footloose, which kind of means that if Dormammu gets to use his special attacks, he's going to be unstoppable and will evade a lot. On top of that, he will also go stun immune for a considerable amount of time. Then there's also Prey on the Weak, which thank God is not full 5%, which we often see. It's only 2%. That means as your buffs and placebo buffs expire, Dormammu is going to be gaining power, kind of like a low-level Mystic Dispersion. I think this would be equal to MD1 or MD2. So it is manageable, but it is something to keep in mind. And another very helpful node is Enhanced Parry, 50% power gain, which means every time you parry stun, you will be gaining power quicker, and that actually is very important for several of the key matchups here. Right, so in order to get to quick solo, we're gonna start with my favorite one. I did this one on the stream as well. It does take a bit of know-how to make this fight super easy, and the key is at the beginning, because the rest of the fight is going to be super quick, and I'm not going to show you even, at the full speed, the continuation of it. But initially, the key is to throw 4 level 1s before Dormammu gets a chance to gain a bar of power, and you can do that by parrying and utilizing that power gain you have. Even though Dormammu isn't crossing a bar of power, you still gain 4 charges. You still gain 4 charges for each level 1, and then when you activate a level 1, once you have over 10 charges, you're going to be starting to inflict power burn effects, which will continuously burn Dormammu's power. Starting from this 4th special, level 1, you can see that Dormammu is losing his power quite consistently. And that is going to be the entire fight. Penny's power control is gonna do everything that needs to be done here, thanks to her increased amount of power that she can gain. And thanks to that, we can keep spamming our level 1s. Dormammu never gets to use the special attack. And because of it, you can transfer the degeneration as those placebo buffs expire. Also because level 1s have multi-hits and they do kind of fill your hit counter very quickly. You always will have plenty of placebo buffs there. And we can see that that power gain from that parry node is putting in work. You're getting tons of power. You're knocking Dormammu down. You're transferring the degeneration that you get from Dormammu's ability as your buffs expire, and thanks to no surrender, Dormammu is taking a huge amount of degen damage. On top of that, he's taking some power burn damage, obviously like a little bit of Penny's own damage. That Penny's damage actually doing a very little amount of job, but this is kind of like the most in control fight that I had. This is like the coolest fight, I would say, because Dormammu can't do absolutely nothing. He doesn't throw a single special attack. He can't do anything at all. And even if you screw up and you have your Sync Shield active, that means you're gonna get the auto block, you're gonna power drain the Dormammu, and everything's gonna work out all right. Super easy, super straightforward fight. I do think you can probably do this fairly easily with a 5-star as well. I'm using a 6-star rank 3 here. I did actually not do this as Spider-Verse hero fight. I used Spider-Ham and Guillotine 2099 for my initial objectives, but I kind of regret that because there are easier options. And for Spider-Verse hero, this is the easiest option by far. For Spider-Verse hero, this is by far the easiest option. We can see that absolutely destroyed this fight with Penny. 2 minutes 30 seconds, 158 hits. It's just basically level 1 spam, and Dormammu can't do anything. And the next fight is kind of, if Penny was the most in control fight, then this one is kind of the cheesiest, but it's slightly chaotic. And this one is also very important to have a good start, where you do want to gain a bit of extra power with that power gain node, but you do also want to gain plenty of nebula charges, which obviously can be tricky. You do not want to get cornered, so there try to push Dormammu slightly back a bit. It does take a bit of practice to get the beginning of this fight right, and there are some things that can go wrong along the way, like here, thank God that regen kicked in because he crit. But here, basically, you use level 1, you apply, you power drain Dormammu, and you apply very, very long power lock on Dormammu. And then after that, you basically just want to kind of get to your level 3 and spam heavy attacks, and that's going to be most of the fight. You can see here I'm using level 3, and Nebula is by far the easiest way how to do the robot objective, in my opinion. There I somehow have trouble parrying Dormammu at times, but that's fine. I'm still kind of gonna make it in time. But again, I just can't seem to land that parry there, and I kind of nearly messed myself over there because of it. But still have 16 shocks, 15 shocks on Dormammu, and at this point we're just gonna start spamming those heavy attacks. By doing so, I also slowly build up some extra charges for later on when I'm gonna need to apply that power lock just to get a little bit of extra burst. Also because I continuously keep knocking the Dormammu down, I keep transferring the degeneration back to Dormammu, and the degen's doing plenty of damage, the shock is doing plenty of damage. And here we can see that Nebs is definitely putting in work. Here I do nail my parry. I land my level 1 pretty much immediately. Unfortunately, this one I had only 10 charges. So that, well, sorry, 10 shocks. So that wasn't like the greatest thing, but we're still doing fine. We're doing fine. There's no problem. Now I'm going to do another level 1 and then build back to level 3. So I have lost, obviously, some health due to the degeneration and the fact that I had to build to level 3. But also continuously knocking Dormammu down. We're transferring all the degen almost immediately as we get it, and we can see that he has several stacks of the degen, each ticking for like 3k or something like that. Now I'm going to go for another level 3, obviously dealing some extra damage with that as well, why not? And there again, somehow I just, with Nebula, kept missing these parries in this recording, but it's super easy to do. And now again, I had 17 shocks on Dormammu, complete power drain. Again, Dormammu doesn't get to activate a single special attack, and you just basically heavy spam him in the corner. So this fight is awesome, loved it. Now, another option for robots, which I'm going to mention later, I just quickly before this video, I tried it out, and this one's probably going to take 1 to 2 revives, and is with Warlock. If you will not have any better options, then with Warlock, you can get in like half of the health of Dormammu. But the key is to basically parry a lot and spam your level 1. So this fight, first fight, I got him down to, I think, 50%. And my second attempt, I think I get him down to something similar like that. But the base point, again, is just parry a lot. Try to get those infections. Make sure that Dormammu doesn't get to activate his level 3. And then power drain him with level 1s as and when you get them. But again, because he does have a buff active, your infections don't last quite long enough. And you can't, you know, it's a bit tricky, but you can definitely put in work with Warlock as well. This is not going to be the solo here. Right, so let's just jump to the stream. So that, as I said, the champions that I used myself in the initial solo was Spider-Ham. Spider-Ham fulfills 2 of the objectives. It's a fairly straightforward fight. Now, it is annoying to deal with that unstoppable and evade and everything else that you know, happens in this fight. But Spider-Ham has very potent degeneration mitigation abilities, so you take a lot less damage from that degen, and that is super helpful. So again, here I'm going to drop level 2. Wonderful, why not? He uses his level 2. Eventually, I do build up to level 3, which kind of costs a bit of my health, but it's not too bad. I can see that at that point, I already had like, what, So here I think that level 2 is about, level 3 is about to come. I'm just slightly before. There's going to be one big powers thing. So here, in the end, I end up building up to level 3. And obviously, with a ton of powers things, Dormammu can take a whole bunch of damage. And yeah, Spider-Ham has that huge degeneration mitigation ability, which definitely puts in plenty of work. And here we can see that he had a fairly large detonation there, I would say. And then I quickly finished him off. And my solo with robots was with... I tried Dragon Man. Dragon Man, I could do about half, 60% with a rank 2 Dragon Man in my first go, basically by spamming level 1s for most part, and utilizing that slow to deal with Footloose. But my robot solo, I got in with Guillotine, and that was like the clutchest of clutchest solos, because I got him down to like 2% or 1% the previous time. But the tactic with Guillotine is very important. The tactic with Guillotine is very important. So I am going to... Yeah. So yeah, that was the bit where I got him down to like few percent. The strategy using Guillotine 2099 for this solo is when you use your level, do not corner Dormammu, use your level 1 and then dash back several times. That will kind of force him to run into you. And that will also avoid you from putting Dormammu in corner, and he's going to be very unlikely to use a special attack. And this is going to be pretty much a photo finish here. And that is how you kind of accomplish this. You dash back several times after your level 1, and you just avoid putting that Dormammu in the corner. So again, just so people understand this one, if they're going to be doing with Guillotine 2099. What you do not want to get cornered, obviously. So we're going to go from the start here. You see, he uses his special attack here because I had cornered him. That is pretty much the only time when he automatically jumps up and uses special attack, which is fine. But the key is, again, as soon as you reach level 1, throw it. That will accomplish two things. It will reduce the degeneration damage that you are taking for yourself, and it will also transfer the degen to Dormammu, obviously. So here, again, I'm just trying to be patient. I wait it out, and we're gonna see. For most part, I think Dormammu got to use like 2, maybe 3 special attacks in the entire fight, but again, we can see that I'm just kind of patiently growing up my power meter there in order to avoid pushing him from having too much power. And again, avoid cornering him best you can and maintain distance. So he's in corner, I'm still trying to run away from it, run several times, and then he tends to run in at you. If I was playing super aggressively and kept him in the corner, he always used his special attacks. If you kind of dash out and then, you know, let him run in at you, he typically will not use that special. And there was a bit of stream lag, I suppose. But yeah, that is the strategy with Guillotine. Then I tried out several other options that did work that we're going to discuss in a moment here. So there is a bit of stream lag. My apologies. Let's just get down to all of these ones. I was planning to have them hidden, but fair enough. We're going to start with the offensive burst champions. The best options that I found, obviously, is Spider-Ham and Stealth Suit, because they fulfill Spider-Verse heroes and offensive burst. So you do not have to stress about getting, you know, well, you can basically kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Then the quickest offensive burst champion that I nearly got a solo in the very first try with a 5-star long shot in like a very, very short amount of time. And I only tried it once on my first attempt. I think I left Dormammu at like 5 or 8% health. But yeah, Longshot is an absolute monster in this fight. He will burst down that fight very quickly, even as a 5-star. Mr. Negative definitely can do it. I played horribly. On my first attempt, I got Dormammu down to about 40%, and then I screwed up, but that was totally my mistake, and Mr. Negative can regenerate from those degens a lot. So he's very, very sustainable. Black Widow Clairvoyant, an excellent, excellent option for this fight as well. Then we have Cosmic Ghost Rider, that I hear works. I haven't tested myself. My apologies if that's not right, but I think Cosmic Ghost Rider can burst down this Dormammu quite well also, considering that, you know, you gain power quite a lot. You can spam your level 2s. You should have access to your damnation as well. It's not too bad, and I have heard it to be done with Kitty Pryde. I'm not entirely sure of strategy there. Spider-Verse heroes, we obviously have a lot less options because there are a lot less Spider-Verse heroes. However, we do have Spider-Ham stealth suit. I showcased how well Penny Parker does this fight, and also Spider-Gwen. I did test out Spider-Gwen a bit on stream, but I only had a rank 4 5-star, and even then I did manage to get about half of Dormammu down with that rank 1 on my initial attempts, and Spider-Gwen fight is very, very fun. Definitely enjoyed that one. And with the robots, hands down, Nebula is the best option, cheesiest and quickest. Then I did it with a 5-star Guillotine 2099. Dragon Man is a solid option as well. I doubt that you're gonna solo. Maybe you will, but it is a bit trickier. But you can definitely do it with 1-2 revives. Vision, Age of Ultron, and probably the old school Vision works as well. And then Warlock, as I demonstrated, can do it in like 1-2 revives also. So those are the options for this week. As far as the rest of this goes, I do want to remind that we will be doing the community challenge. The results for the previous week will be announced tomorrow. So the winners will get their payments sent. We're going to have another 3 people getting $100 each. And new challenges will also be posted tomorrow in the same video. So definitely stay tuned. Link to Evizone and everything else that you will need to know about these giveaways is going to be in the video description. Check them out. Check out the channel tomorrow for the specific community objectives. If you want to compete, I highly urge and encourage you. It's a ton of fun, and you can win $100. And tomorrow, we're gonna send out 300 out again. So in total, we are sending out 1,500. We have sent out 600. Tomorrow it's gonna be 900, and that means we're still gonna have a couple weeks to go. So you haven't missed all the action. You still definitely have time to take part. Do not forget about that, and join the fun or torture, pain, whichever way you want to look at it. Right, but that is about it. So I'm gonna put the options here back on the table. There could be more options. I'm sure there are more options. I'm just saying the ones that are the easiest or the ones that I'm most familiar with. I hope this video has helped you. And if it has, well, then do me a favor and hit those like buttons and all the other good buttons. I'm going to catch you guys soon and see ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the next month